what is meditation? I usually don't get very many opportunities to sit on a mat and meditate for 40 minutes. Like I was in a Zen monastery or something. And I'm not proud of that. You know, I usually get to meditate maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And not for 40 minutes. Usually I can go for 20 minutes. And I just get, my back starts to hurt and, you know, I can't sit there. But I take a lot of walks. And when I drive, I drive safely and defensively, but in a way complacently. You know, I'm not trying to get where I'm going. I'm always just kind of going with the flow. And, you know, I got into one accident and someone hit me coming from the side. I didn't even see them. They ran a stop sign. And other than that, along with everybody else. And usually I'm thinking when I'm driving, or thinking in a very rhythmic way, in a way that's meditative, I think. Even, you know, I don't know if meditation is supposed to be clearing your mind. I just think it's supposed to be realizing that there is no mind, and that you're just here in this place having this experience, and there's no mind having the experience. It's just experience. There is experiencing going on everywhere. Everything is reflecting everything else. And that reflection is causing this growth. But the growth is not caused by the environment or the organism. There's no cause and effect. Cause and effect are a product of time. And time is an illusion. It's Maya. It's the play of the mind. Because the mind likes to name things. It likes to categorize and chop things up and you know, put everything into order so that it can know and control. But the problem is the mind is itself. The mind, the ego, the I, it's an illusion. So it builds this whole strategy for coming to control the world and understand and know the world. But in reality, none of that knowledge is more than a cultural agreement, or more than a mythological, metaphorical way of thinking about a particular pattern that we find in nature. The pattern of nature itself is really quite a mystery. Not that we don't, at some deeper intuitional level, understand it. You know, I don't like to use understand, because we say when we understand something, we have knowledge of something. And knowledge implies that there's a knower, I think. So this intuitional, it's like a union with nature. And that doesn't mean that you become undifferentiated, or that you merge, your body merges with either something, or you dissolve into pure light or whatever. No, it just means you don't think of your body as separate from your environment, and you don't think of your personality as separate from the other personalities that you encounter in life. When you encounter another personality in life, all you see is a mirror, and you try to work out with yourself the best way to go about the conversation or the action, whatever you guys are participating in, and you both build each other. There's no, we become actors. We're always method acting. The ego is always method acting, because the ego is aware of all the choices it can make about what kind of person it's going to be. And so it's got to choose. It can't just naturally be who it is. That requires unconsciousness. And if you're a conscious ego, you can't succumb to that. Your life is a perpetual battle against that. Against succumbing to what you can't know. But it seems like, okay, I think the original question was, what is meditation? Meditation is being succumb by the other. Totally absorbed into the world. Not in the sense that you disappear into it or become undifferentiated, but in the sense that you no longer think of yourself as separate from it. You no longer think that you could actually control anything. Because control is a problem. You know, science is always working on gaining control, gaining understanding, but it's always, you know, it develops new paradigms and wider, more all-encompassing paradigms supplant older paradigms. You know, relativity supplants Newtonian physics, and we get, you know, we have this mechanistic idea of nature still, and it's really just because I think after the Enlightenment, you know, Darwin and Newton and Bacon said what science is, you know, hundreds of years ago, and science is still basically the same. You know, no major advance since that time, at least in the meaning of science. The meaning and the method has stayed exactly the same. And so science has advanced its paradigmatical, metaphorical understanding of, you know, what might be going on, but it doesn't know anything yet. That's for the future, and that's science's God, the future. Because everything potentially can be solved by future understanding. Because just look at our past and how much we've come to know since, you know, we started trying to figure out this world. So obviously we're going to keep on figuring out more. But it's not just that they think we're going to figure out more. It's that they think we're going to figure it out, and it's it. And we're going to close the book and have the encyclopedia of everything. That's my favorite part of Douglas Adams' universe books. But so meditating is just driving. Meditating is just talking into a video camera. Meditating is writing a poem. Meditating is cooking, and like cooking to cook, not cooking to eat, but cooking for the food, for the preparation and the participation in this. It's almost an alchemical ritual of some kind, you know, because you're making the food, you're preparing the dish that's going to feed people, and it's going to become part of their bodies and give them life, give them, you know, consciousness, and become part of their bodies. So you're making like a magic potion. So it's a pretty important job, and you should pay attention to it when you do it. I think people that pay attention to driving are actually worse drivers than people that meditate when they drive. Because if you're paying attention when you're driving, you're trying to get somewhere, and there's all these obstacles in your way. So then each car becomes sort of like an enemy combatant in a race to the future. Because you gotta be on time, and these other fuckers better get the hell out of your way. You got an appointment with a client. You gotta be somewhere. I think I'm way over time, so I'm gonna end this video introduction to